Hey everybody, I hope you're well. You can probably see in the background here, we are in session today and debating and passing a number of bills. We just, one a minute ago, which I just wanted to flag quickly, involved, because it's one that I've heard from a lot of our town clerks about, has to do with the current underlying law, which requires municipalities to post legal notices in local print newspapers, which in some cases in our towns is both can be costly and not all that effective depending on the particular community. And this would allow them to post on their own town websites and or other internet sites. And it was an interesting mixed vote. I supported it because I've heard from a lot of town clerks about that, who have been advocating for years for allowing them to, to actually reach people the way they get their news and their information. But you heard a lot of conversation about people wanting to preserve newspapers, which I am, of course, in favor of, but also, questioning about how people are actually getting their news and not wanting to let go of that physical newspaper. But it was an interesting, very bipartisan vote on both sides of the issue, which I supported, and we'll see where it goes from here if the Senate takes it up. But that was an interesting one. I also wanted to flag a few. I have been very focused on process recently because that's what I'm mired in. But we've now, even the Finance committee deadline has passed, so now we are debating bills on the floor. Some of them are the easiest, quickest ones. They're technical revisions, in which there's, no objection, whatever. They're just cleanup bills, and others are a little bit longer conversation before we get to the vote. I wanted to just highlight quickly some of the priority bills in the House that we're working on this year. One of them is 5001, which is our election bill this year. It of course expands absentee voting access pursuant to the referendum, which passed overwhelmingly at the polls a couple of years ago. It also modernizes, it provides some election security and updates, and it also addresses an issue that we had in our in the 64th district, which basically has to do with not letting inadvertent little mistakes, filing errors in a form that's quite clear what the intent was, but there was a mistake. Somebody didn't fill out a particular portion of the form. Not allowing that to cause a catastrophic error and eliminate people from a ballot. It basically allows the Secretary of State to catch those errors and allow them to be cured, which is the way they should be. Small mistakes should be treated as small mistakes and not basically eject somebody from the ballot. So I'm glad to have that. It was the 64th district which made sure that got in there this year, so that we can make sure that people actually get the kind of choice at the ballot that they deserve. We are all. Their education funding is a big topic this year, and we're trying to increase the education funding through an education bill, an education priority bill, 5002, and also on the finance end of the budget, where we have, there's a portion of our revenue that we refer to as volatile revenue, which means, generally speaking, we can't use it for ordinary budgetary purposes. But the governor proposed taking a chunk of it, because we do have a lot of volatile revenues, to use them for various purposes. He proposed one particular purpose. We've been discussing with him that we're going to break that up a little bit and use some of it to provide municipal support. And that we have a lot of municipalities in the 64th district and elsewhere whose education costs are quite onerous, and they need some assistance. And this could be for that, or it could be for, basically allow municipalities a little bit of help with their budgeting this year. So we're working on sort of negotiating how much goes to municipal relief, how much goes to individual, because we will also provide some sort of one-time tax relief for people who are struggling with costs, which were going through the roof before and now are particularly, given the Iran war and oil costs and fertilizer costs and you name it, are going through the roof for people. And we're trying to, and that is my cue to vote. So I get it. So you hear that bell in the background? That means the board is open. Generally, they hold it open for another minute. So I'll finish this and get my vote in before the thing goes on. basically, actually, there we go. Okay, I'm going. I hope the board stays open. What I wanted to note just quickly is that although immersed in state issues, to watch what's happening at the national level and to have our president threaten to wipe an entire civilization out is kind of more than one can bear. Glad we stepped back from that precipice, but that would have been a war crime, and to have that committed in my name is a hard thing to stomach. So I just wanted to also recommend that, as a contrast, to watch the astronauts around the moon decide to name a crater after the recently passed wife of one of the astronauts, and the collective hug there, and to all encourage us that that's the kind of emotion that I hope that can drive us instead of the other. So I'm going to go vote now and talk to you soon.